Have you ever had one of those moments where you look at your child, this little human you'd give the world for, and wonder, why do they feel so distant from me? Maybe it's subtle. They used to come running to you with every little story, every scraped knee, every question about the world. But now, they give you short answers, spend more time in their room, or they roll their eyes when you ask about their day. You tell yourself, it's normal. They're growing up. But deep down, there's this quiet ache in your chest. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Did I miss my chance to be close with them? The truth is, even the most loving parents, people like you, who want nothing but the best for their kids, can accidentally build walls instead of bridges. Not because you're a bad parent, not because you don't care, but because life gets busy, work drains you, stress piles up, and in those moments of exhaustion or worry, we say things we don't mean. We make choices we think are helping, but they're quietly pushing our kids further away. That's what I want to talk about today. Because this isn't about blame or shame. It's about awareness. It's about gently shining a light on those habits that might be creating distance and learning how to replace them with small, powerful shifts that pull us closer to the people we love most. And let me be honest with you. I've been there. I've sat in the kitchen after a long day, staring at my phone while my child tried to show me a drawing they made. I've lost my temper over something small because my stress got the better of me. I've seen that flicker of hurt in their eyes and felt the weight of it later when I couldn't sleep. So if you're here right now, it means you care. And that's already the first step to reconnecting. Let's talk about one of the most common mistakes, one that almost every parent makes at some point. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to correct your child, even when you're trying to help? Maybe they spill their juice, and before you can stop yourself, the words slip out. Why weren't you paying attention? I told you to be careful. Or they come home with a lower grade than you expected, and your instinct is to ask, what happened? Did you study enough? We think we're teaching them responsibility. We think we're preparing them for the real world. But to your child, those moments often feel like judgment, not guidance. Over time, if the corrections pile up, they may stop coming to you with their mistakes. They may start hiding parts of themselves because they're afraid of disappointing you. I remember talking to a 12-year-old girl who said, I don't tell my mom about my problems anymore because she'll just tell me what I should have done instead of listening. That hit me hard because as parents, we're so eager to protect our kids from pain, but sometimes the way we do it ends up making them feel alone in it. What's the shift here? It's simple, but not always easy. Trade correction for connection. When your child spills the juice, take a breath. Instead of, I told you to be careful, try, that happens. Let's clean it up together. When they get a lower grade, start with, how are you feeling about this, before jumping into solutions. Because when kids feel safe to bring you their messes, the literal ones and the emotional ones, that's when trust grows. That's when they feel close, not pushed away. Now, let's talk about another one. And this one might surprise you. Have you ever found yourself comparing your child to someone else? Maybe you didn't mean it in a hurtful way. You said something like, look how well your cousin practices piano. If you worked a little harder, you could be that good too. Or you told them, when I was your age, I already knew how to fill in the blank. You meant it as encouragement, but to your child, it doesn't feel like motivation. It feels like they're not enough as they are. And over time, those comparisons can chip away at their self-esteem and drive a wedge between you. I'll never forget the father who told me, I kept telling my son about how I was top of my class when I was his age. I thought I was inspiring him, but one day he yelled at me, I'm not you, Dad. I'll never be you. That's when I realized I'd been pushing him away without even knowing it. Here's the thing. Your child isn't meant to be like anyone else. Not their cousin, not their classmate, not even you. They're meant to be them. And when you celebrate who they are right now, not who you wish they were, you create space for connection to grow. So next time you're tempted to compare, pause. Replace it with curiosity. Ask them what they enjoy, what they're proud of, what they want for themselves. When you do that, you send a powerful message. You're enough, and I'm here for you, no matter what. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, we can make our kids feel unheard or unseen. And in today's world, where everyone's busy and distractions are everywhere, that's easier than ever to do. So how do we start truly hearing them again? How do we rebuild that closeness when it feels like there's already a gap? Let's talk about it. It's strange, isn't it? We live in a world where connection is supposed to be easier than ever. Phones, social media, FaceTime, you name it. And yet, so many of us feel like we're drifting apart from the people right in front of us. For parents, that drift often shows up in the tiniest moments. Like when your child comes into the room while you're answering work emails and says, "Hey mom, look at this funny video." And you respond, "That's nice," without ever looking up. Or when they start telling you about a silly argument with their friend, and you're so focused on cooking dinner that you half listen, nodding at the right places, but you're not really there. We tell ourselves, "I'm here. I'm providing for them. I'm doing my best." And you are. You're showing up in all the ways that matter. Putting food on the table, keeping the house running, holding your own life together. But here's what I've learned. Kids don't just need us to be physically present. They need us to be emotionally present. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is passive. It's the sound waves hitting your ears while you're stirring the pot or scrolling your phone. Listening, that's active. That's setting down the spoon, meeting their eyes, and saying, "Tell me more. What happened next?" And let me be honest, this was one of the hardest shifts for me as a parent. Because my brain is wired to juggle, to plan, to fix, to move on to the next thing. So when my daughter wanted to talk about the latest Roblox update, everything in me screamed, "This doesn't matter. You don't have time for this right now." But to her, it mattered. It was her way of saying, "I want to share my world with you." When we dismiss those little invitations, even unintentionally, our kids learn to stop extending them, and that's how the gap starts to grow. So here's what helped me. I started practicing what I call 10 seconds of stillness. Whenever my child came to me, I'd pause whatever I was doing, even just for 10 seconds, and give them my full attention. Sometimes that pause turned into a 5-minute conversation. Sometimes it didn't, but those 10 seconds sent a message louder than words. You matter to me. You're worth my time. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Now, let's talk about another mistake that can sneak up on us, especially in this age of constant achievement and competition. Over-controlling or micromanaging our kids' lives. We've all been there, right? You love them so much and you just want to make sure they succeed. So you remind them again to pack their homework. You double-check if they've practiced piano. You choose their clothes because you don't want them to be teased at school. It all comes from love. But here's the thing. Control feels like suffocation to a child. Think about it. No one likes being told what to do every second of the day. Not you, not me, and definitely not your child, who's trying to figure out who they are in the world. When we micromanage, we send an unspoken message. "I don't trust you to handle this on your own." And over time, that message can lead to rebellion. Or worse, quiet compliance that hides resentment underneath. I remember talking to a teenager who said, "My parents decide everything for me. I just stopped arguing. But inside, I feel like I'm living their life, not mine." That's not what we want for our kids. We want them to feel empowered, capable, and confident. And the only way they learn that is by having room to make choices. And yes, even room to make mistakes. So what's the alternative? Start small. Instead of saying, "Wear this jacket, it's cold," try asking, "It's chilly today. What do you think you should wear to stay warm?" Instead of, "Don't forget your homework," say, "What's your plan for finishing your homework tonight?" It might feel awkward at first. It might even feel risky. But giving them these little pockets of autonomy helps build their sense of responsibility. And it also builds trust between you. Because here's the beautiful irony. When kids feel trusted, they're more likely to come to you for guidance. When they feel controlled, they pull away. And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today, isn't it? Learning how to build bridges instead of walls. But what if you're listening right now and you're thinking it's too late? The walls are already up. My kid doesn't talk to me anymore. They roll their eyes or shut their door every time I try. If that's you, take a deep breath. It's not too late. connection can always be rebuilt, no matter how wide the gap feels right now. So, how do you begin? How do you break through those walls and remind your child that your love has never gone anywhere? It starts with one of the most powerful yet overlooked tools we have as parents. Let's talk about it. You know, when I talk to parents who feel like they've lost their connection with their kids, I often hear the same fear. What if I've already messed it up? What if it's too late to fix this? And my answer is always the same. It's not too late. Children, even teenagers, even young adults, are wired to want closeness with their parents. That desire doesn't go away, no matter how much they roll their eyes, shut their bedroom doors, or insist they don't care. Somewhere deep down, they still long to feel safe with you. They still want to know you're on their side. So let's talk about one of the most powerful ways to start rebuilding that closeness. Apologizing and owning your part. I know, that might sound strange. You're the parent. You've been doing your best. Maybe you feel like they're the one who's been pulling away, ignoring you, or being disrespectful. And sure, kids have their part to play in any relationship. But here's the thing. When we're brave enough to go first, to take responsibility for our mistakes, we model something incredibly important. We show them what humility looks like. We show them that love isn't about being perfect. It's about staying connected, even when we mess up. I'll never forget the first time I apologized to my son for losing my temper. He was 8 years old. I'd been stressed at work all week, and when he accidentally knocked over a glass of water, I snapped at him. The look on his face still breaks my heart when I think about it. His little shoulders slumped, and he whispered, "I didn't mean to." That night, after he'd gone quiet at dinner, I sat on his bed and said, "Hey buddy, can I tell you something? I'm sorry for yelling earlier. That wasn't fair to you. I was frustrated, but that's not your fault. You didn't deserve that." At first, he didn't say much, but the next day, out of the blue, he came and hugged me tight. And I realized that my apology had opened a door that anger had started to close. If you're feeling distant from your child right now, consider starting there. Not with a lecture, not with a demand that they open up. Just a simple, heartfelt, "I know I haven't always gotten it right. I want to do better, because you matter so much to me." You might be surprised at how far those words go. Another shift that can work wonders is focusing on shared time without an agenda. Think about your day-to-day interactions with your child. How much of it revolves around tasks? Did you brush your teeth? Have you done your homework? Clean up your room? It's easy for life to become a series of instructions and reminders, especially when you're juggling work and family. But kids crave moments where they don't feel like a project or a checklist item. They want to feel like you enjoy being with them. Not because you're teaching them something, not because you're correcting them, but just because they're them. You don't have to plan anything elaborate. It can be as simple as sitting down and playing their favorite video game for 15 minutes, even if you have no idea what's happening on the screen. It can be baking cookies together, going for a short walk, or even just lying on the couch and asking, "What's been on your mind lately?" These little moments send a big message. You're worth my time. Not because of your grades, not because of how tidy your room is, not because you're doing everything right, just because you're you. And isn't that what we all want, deep down? To feel like we're loved for who we are, not what we do? Here's the beautiful thing about kids. They're incredibly forgiving. They don't need you to get it perfect. They just need you to keep showing up. So if you've been feeling that distance growing, don't let it scare you into silence. Don't let it convince you it's too late, because it's not. You have the power to turn things around, one small moment at a time. It might feel awkward at first. Your child might not respond the way you hope right away. That's okay. This isn't about overnight fixes. This is about planting seeds, seeds of trust, of safety, of love, and watering them consistently, even when you can't see the growth yet. And if no one has told you this recently, let me say it now, you're doing better than you think. Parenting doesn't come with a manual. You're learning, you're trying, and that matters more than any mistake you've made. So tonight, maybe instead of scrolling through your phone or stressing about tomorrow's to-do list, pause, knock on your child's door, ask if they want to watch a show together, or just sit for a few minutes and chat. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. You might be amazed at what starts to happen. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small thing you're going to try this week to reconnect with your child? Or, if you've been through a season like this before, what helped you find your way back? And if this video spoke to you, don't forget to like and subscribe. We talk a lot here about navigating the messy, beautiful reality of life in your 30s, 40s, and beyond. Parenting, relationships, career, and how to take care of yourself along the way. Because no matter where you are right now, I want you to remember, your story isn't finished. The best parts of your relationship with your child are still ahead. You've got this.